I'm going to use Affinity Photo to take this hand-drawn map and get it ready for publication. I've deliberately left off some of the details like the stairs and the doors. I'm going to fill in those interior details later. But for now, what I mostly want to do is I want to be able to select this interior part, and I'm going to invert it, and then I'm going to select, add a pattern or a texture to this exterior area. I also want to get rid of the grid lines on this, or most of them anyway. So the first thing I'm going to do is to crop this. So I'm going to apply the crop tool, and I want to cut off that edge there, because when I use the flood selection tool, I want to be able to just click in the middle here and have it select the interior of this. So I'm going to apply that, and then the next thing I'm going to do is try to filter out or get rid of all of the grid lines. So I'm just going to add a brightness and contrast to that and bring these up until most of those are gone. I don't want to eliminate all of my detail work here, so I'm going to try to bring back as much of that as possible. But I don't want to leave too much of the grid behind. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to do, the next thing I'm going to do is to create a new layer based on this, and I'm going to merge visible, because at this point it hasn't really applied the crop to it. So I'm going to merge visible, and so that looks pretty good. I can actually turn these off now. All right, so yeah. Now before I do this, before I do the selection, I'm also going to bring in a background layer. So this is a picture of some coral, and I'm going to copy that and bring it over here and paste it in. And I can see that it doesn't quite fill my picture, so I'm going to make that a little bigger so it completely fills in this area. And so that looks good. I'm going to actually drag that down to a lower level, select this one again, and now I'm ready to do this selection. So I select this, I'm going to do a select, and I can see that it's made a mistake. So it's got a leak right here. It was able to squeeze through that gap, and then there's another one down here. So I'm going to fix those two leaky places and then do the flood selection again. So I'm going to deselect those and then grab a paintbrush, and I made it only 5 pixels, everything up at 100. I just need to fill in these little gaps. I'm going to paint over this little gap, and I'm going to paint over this little gap. So now those two little gaps are filled in. I should be able to do the flood selection tool again without it leaking. So that looks good. That looks good. Everything looks pretty good at this point. Now, what I really want is not the interior. I really want the exterior of this to be selected. So I'm going to invert the selection. So that'll give me all the stuff I've actually drawn on here. I'm going to copy that with a Control-C and paste it with a Control-V. Now I've got that all selected. I'm going to do the same thing with the background layer. So I'm going to select that and paste it. So I've got my, so I'm just going to turn off these two, and those are my two selected layers. This one I'm going to change to multiply, and for this one I'm going to add a filter, and the filter is going to be a high pass filter, and I'm going to just zoom in here, just bring this up. I think I'll make it monochrome. Bring this up until I can see just a little bit of the outline detail. So I want to merge this with my other pattern like that. So it still will look basically flat. And then it's a little dark, so I'm going to bring up the brightness and contrast, or just the brightness really, on this, like that. Okay, and now I'm going to turn this layer on again, and I can see that I have the basic outline of the map done. So I'm going to deselect that, and then I can save it at this point, and then I'm going to come back later and add in those interior details.